friends, both new and old. Welcome back to my kitchen. I have this bag of raspberries that I've started to unthaw, and today we are going to use these to create some delicious homemade fruit leather. Hello, my name is Laura here at Osiadacz Family Farm, and this is where we balance back to basics living with the modern world. If this is something you're interested in, I ask you to please subscribe to our channel as well as ring that bell so you are the first to know when we upload a new video. Okay, it's time to get started making our raspberry fruit leather. And this is super simple. So we are just gonna use a bag of raspberries that I've started to unthaw. Pour some of these in our bowl here. I like to add a little bit of sugar to taste. Now, I early on used honey, but what I found with the dehydrator is honey actually made the fruit leather very difficult to dehydrate, and so I like to use sugar instead. We are now going to add our raspberries into our large glass bowl here. These are raspberries that we picked out of our large berry patch, and we're just going to begin mashing these up with our, what most people call a potato masher. We're now adding some just plain white sugar. I'm gonna go ahead and mix that into our mashed up berries. And then I'll go ahead and just take a quick taste. Now, one thing I'd like to mention is raspberries are fairly tart. And actually, I did a little bit of reading this past summer just because we grow so many raspberries. And for people that are looking for berries that are low in sugar, natural sugars, raspberries actually have some of the least amount of sugars in the actual berry. I believe that may lead to some of the tartness. But for this fruit leather, we like to add some sugar to it. Now that might have looked like quite a bit, but in reality, it doesn't change the taste too much, but just makes a little bit of sweet to the sour you get in the finished fruit leather. Okay, so we are done making our mixture here. It is ready to go into our dehydrator. Now, this dehydrator is amazing. It does so much work for us here in the kitchen. And I've talked about it before, but it's the Nesco American Harvest. I have a ton of trays for that, and you can dry herbs and spices, nuts and seeds, fruits and vegetables, as well as meats, fish, and jerky. So it's super inexpensive, especially for the amount of work it does. Now it comes with this special tray that is good for the actual fruit leather. So this is what I use. So we'll just begin putting a layer of this onto the tray. Now, another thing I learned over the last couple years in making my fruit leather is not to make the layer of fruit on this tray, and this is a solid tray, too thick, because it'll take a ton of time to actually go through the dehydrating process. So I, don't make it too thin either, but there had been one occurrence where I thought, well, we have extra, I'll just kind of pile it on. That was a huge mistake. I should have just made a couple batches. So all of this is too much to go on that single tray. I'm gonna go ahead and put some on today. We will check on it, take a look at it when it's ready to take off this tray and ready for a second batch to be put on. But the moral of this story is just put on a reasonable amount. Don't go overboard. If you need to make a couple of batches, just make a couple of batches. We are now going to put on our layer of this raspberry mash. And like I had stated earlier, we want a nice layer, not necessarily too thin, but not too thick either. Okay, we have now put on our layer of raspberries. We are going to now just put the lid on our Nesco food dehydrator. I have it set to 135, which is the fruits and vegetables setting. We'll go ahead and just plug it in, and we'll check on it here later this afternoon. Okay, it is now time to take a look at our dehydrator. It's later in the afternoon and our Fruitleather is now done. So I'm gonna show you how I remove this from the tray and cut it using my pizza cutter to put it into strips, and how we enjoy this for a nice treat. Okay. Now I'm gonna show you how this comes off of this tray. It's pretty easy. You just carefully peel it off and put it onto a cutting board. And once we do that, let's see if I can do it here without breaking it. Put it on the cutting board. We're gonna use our pizza cutter, and I'm just going to cut this into strips. Okay, here's another view of how I just use the pizza cutter. I push down firmly to get through the Fruitleather, but as you can see, it does a very nice job cutting the strips, which we think are the perfect size to enjoy for a quick little treat. All right, I have this all packaged up. I'm just gonna go ahead and pop on the lid. This is a delicious treat. It's great to snack on, and is one of the ways that we use our excess fruit throughout the year before the following season. I would love to hear how you use all of your fruit as well, especially if you have excess like we do here. Please mention something in the comments below. Until next time.